Bub, and once again, Insomniac is reminding us why they are the best that is at what they do. Welcome back, guys. Your man Unspoken Reviews back again with another video. And yes, just not too long ago, we received some gameplay of the new upcoming Marvel's Wolverine, which is actually being created by Insomniac. And guys, it was actually released during State of Play, something that a lot of fans were hoping for. A lot of people were expecting it. I actually was watching some of the State of Play, and you could just see every other comment as you were watching some of the live comments. Everything was Wolverine. Where's Wolverine? Even I put out a comment saying I'm only here for Wolverine, and I was really. There were a couple other titles that got my attention, but this was the game that I was looking forward to knowing much more about. And true to the word, Insomniac did not hold back because, as we know, this game is going to be released on September 15, 2026. And by right, they were duty bound to give us something to chew on until they brought us a little bit more about the story. And they gave us a little bit of gameplay. And guys, overall, I gotta say, I enjoyed it. I'm going to have some of the gameplay playing here in the background during this video, but I am going to try to edit it a little bit because, as you do see, there is a lot of blood splatter going on in this gameplay. So it does open up with Wolverine. And I do like how they also incorporated his, iconic smelling, his scent. The way he usually smells things is able to track people through their scent. He's always had that ability. I think it kind of goes with his mutation a little bit. But he smells something and he mentions, it seems like he's talking to someone, but there's nobody really there. So you assume that he's working alongside someone. We're just not exactly sure who. And we see he gets into combat with the Reavers. First and foremost, I got to say, guys, the background, the effects, the graphics, everything looks beautiful. Like the background, the highlighting of the forest, the mountains in the background, the roads, even the movement from the characters looks gorgeous. It looks great, man. And we get to see some of the combat aesthetics. As I did tell you guys, it was going to have that kind of over the shoulder kind of movement, a lot like God of War games that we've gotten. And it looks pretty good, man. And we see that Wolverine gets into some carnage of cutting down some of the Reavers. And I like how they tried to incorporate some of the mature, really gritty ways that Wolverine fights, while at the same time trying to use the electronics that the Reavers use, so that way they're not just going full blood. They're kind of giving it a little bit of the short out from the electrical systems when he stabs them. But make no mistake, guys, this is Wolverine incarnate. This is exactly the way the character should be played on the game. It reminds me a lot of the Wolverine Origins game. I didn't get a chance to play that, but I did get to see a lot of videos of it, even watched a walkthrough of it one time, and that game was vicious. It definitely was a step up from that Wolverine Origins movie. It was one of the best games out there that pretty much did exactly what the character needed to do. And it doesn't seem like Insomniac is missing out on that. They know they have a lot they have to live up to with this character. And this seems to be the same world that's going to be going on in Marvel Spider-Man. So I'm expecting a couple references here and there. If there isn't, that's fine. If it's going to be its own thing. If it just says it's part of this world, and maybe later on down the line, these characters may cross paths, I do not know. We will find out as we get there. So I will say that the combat is awesome. I also love the environmental kills, man. Sometimes you can use kind of like these stealth attacks where you see he actually takes his claws and grabs a Reaver. It pulls it over the blockade a little bit. That was pretty cool. So it seems like there's going to be some stealth aspects to this game. Super excited about that. I also like how there is one scene where he's fighting a Reaver and he can't get past his defenses. So he kicks him into a pair of forks on a forklift, which impales him and then kills him, which I thought was just vicious, man. The kills in this game are going to be iconic, and I really do love the environmental kills. I think that is something important, especially with Marvel's Spider-Man. The environment always comes in handy when you're playing those games. You can do things like use electric panels, or use cranes to trap them on, or just all these different ideas at work, and shows the intelligence that the character has and how long they've been fighting, right? It doesn't skip out on that. And Insomniac figured out how to make sure that Wolverine has that in his skill set. Also, will say this game has really good transitions, right? I like how it goes from one scene he's fighting a bunch of Reavers on the ground to next he's moving onto a motorcycle. And it seems the scene goes on for a little while until he has to kind of abandon the motorcycle, and it goes right into the combat. Now, I'm not sure if this game's going to have QTE. I hope it doesn't. If it has a few here and there, I can accept it, just as long as it's not too many of them. I do know the God of War games had a little bit of those in there. I don't know if Insomniac is going to go that way. If they do, it's fine, just as long as it doesn't take up too much of the game. It seems that some of the gameplay, based off what I've seen, is just kind of a little bit of cutscene here and there, which is fine as long as it doesn't drag too much. It also seems like we get a little bit of Uncharted 2 gameplay here. Like you see how he's jumping from truck to truck, and they do a real great job of showing Wolverine's not only his brutality, but his agility and the athleticism that the character does have. Like, dude can jump from one place to another and impale somebody. It looks pretty vicious. They take a lot from the stuff they found in the games and comics before him and really make sure that the character is done well here. So I'm excited to see a little bit more of that in here. So based off the story, there is a little bit from the creators where they talk about how in this version of Wolverine's story, the mutants are pretty much dying out. There's only a limited amount of them on the planet. Now, from what we've seen before in whether or not you're watching the X-Men animated series or the X-Men movies with Fox, they always talk about the mutants like they're just constantly popping up all over the place, right? So I think that this story is going to happen somewhere down the line later. I do believe that at this time, while Wolverine is still active, or he may not be, there's a potential. Like when we finally get to meet the character in the story, it seems that maybe Wolverine might not be as active as he was with the X-Men. As a matter of fact, it's a possibility that the X-Men themselves may not exist as much as they used to, okay? The reason I'm saying that is because when the creators mentioned that that the mutants are dying out, there have been quite a few different storylines, right? The Reavers are a part of that storyline. And around that time, I do believe that either two things have possibly happened, whether it was House of M, where there's no more mutants, which is Wanda Maximoff's famous quote, where she actually wipes out most of the mutant populace using her reality-bending powers, or we're talking a potential cure that has been put out into world that's affecting mutants, okay? You do kind of see a little bit of that in the Old Man storyline, Old Man Logan storyline. That story is a little bit different. We do know that in that story, Logan actually kills most of the X-Men due to Mysterio messing with his mind. I don't believe they're going this route. If they are, that might be okay. I don't exactly know if they're going to do that because this Logan doesn't look old. He still looks a little bit younger. Well, you know, Wolverine's over 200 years old, so he's not young, but you understand he has the visual look of more younger. So are they going with the House of M storyline? Or are they going with the Old Man Logan storyline? Or are they just saying there's a cure out there that's wiping out mutants? I'm not exactly sure. It's a possibility. We do see they're being rounded up by some of the Reavers, and we also get a little cameo from Leech. Leech has been everywhere, man. Leech is always that one mutant character that you see in almost every interpretation, whether or not it's the animated series, you know, or the comics or the movies. That character is just everywhere. Leech is just one of those characters. He's just famously known for showing up everywhere. And it seems that we also get a nice little cameo from Jean Grey. Now, when Jean references, you know, when they look at each other, it seems that there was a possibility they've been working together. So I do believe in the early parts of this gameplay trailer, that's who Logan is referring to when he's talking. He may be talking about Jean, and Jean does show up here, and she looks pretty good, man. I gotta say, I do think she could look a little better. I'm not really BSing too much. I know people kind of complain about the female characters in the Insomniac games looking more like men. I don't know. I mean, anything could change from now till then. I mean, we've seen it happen with Black Widow in the Marvel Avengers game. She looked more like Thor than Thor did in the first gameplay trailer of that. And, you know, they changed her look later on down the line. So it's a possibility that Jean might have a bit of a change here and there. But Jean does show up, man, and she does use her psychic powers. She does kind of come in a little bit like Atreus to Wolverine's Kratos, right? She kind of uses her abilities along with his to kind of do these combo attacks. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You can also see in the background that the character can hold her own. Like her psychic powers, her telekinetic powers work very well against gunfire and stuff like that. So it means that she's capable of holding her own, which we know Jean is one of the few Omega level mutants in the X-Men lore. It doesn't surprise me that she's able to hold her own. Now, where the other X-Men are at this particular point in time, I'm not exactly sure. Is the team fractured? Is it broken? Are many of the X-Men dead? I don't know. We might find out. We do also know there's going to be some Sentinels in this game. So is it a possibility the Sentinels have caused some major issues? Or are we possibly going to get a Master Mode storyline? I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to wait and see. But it was pretty cool seeing characters like Jean pop up. We also see a quick flash of Sabretooth, which, of course, it's not going to be a Wolverine game without Sabretooth in it. We know these two have always been epic rivals in every single video game adaptation they've been in. Any kind of movie, any type of comic, any type of TV show, Wolverine and Sabretooth always have to go at it. They've had different stories. Some stories say that they're brothers. Other people say that they just served together. I like the X-Men animated series version of that a little bit more, how they know each other as they had once served together, and they have much more of a history because of that, a lot of confliction about what happened with Silver Fox and Maverick. I don't want to get too far into it, but it was pretty cool seeing him be in it. Like I said, it wouldn't be a Wolverine game without him. I also know we're going to get Mystique in this game. What's her part in the story? I'm not exactly sure. We know Mystique has always been a covert agent that's always kind of worked for herself and sometimes worked for the Brotherhood. Are we going to find out what happened to Magneto, why we don't see him anywhere in this game? Is he going to show up? Is he going to have a cameo? Is Charles Xavier going to have a cameo? Are we going to have any kind of other versions of the Brotherhood around? I don't know. We'll see. But we always usually know Mystique is either in it for the Brotherhood or she's in it for herself. Now, I think this game, she might be more in it for herself, but we'll see how her connection with Logan pans out as the game goes on. But I will say, guys, this definitely super excited me to get more into this game. I cannot wait to play. This is actually one of my most anticipated series besides the First Light game that I'm currently playing now, and I'm enjoying that game so far. Despite what people are saying about it, I'm enjoying it, and I have no doubt that this game's going to be great as well. Say what you want about Insomniac's faults in their Spider-Man games. They always do a great job of knowing exactly what the character's about and knowing exactly what fans want to see. When that first Marvel Spider-Man game came out, it was just everything everybody wanted. It had all the lore from the games, the comics, the TV shows, the movies. It had everything. And I have no doubt that Insomniac is going to do the same thing with James Howlett, a.k.a. Wolverine. All right, guys. So that was just my quick thoughts on the game. I cannot wait to play this game. I can't wait to, find out more about it, find out more information about it. I can't wait to see the iconic suits because Insomniac loves their suits. I know a lot of people were seeing the Wolverine suit, and there was one thing that a lot of people were complaining about was the healing factor aspect. I'm not exactly sure how that goes. I do think it's kind of weird that the character's suit will get all damaged and then he heals and then the suit heals with him. I don't think that should happen. But like I said, I'm not a game developer and maybe it must much be easier for them to do it that way. I'm not exactly sure. I do think it would be better if the suit didn't heal up, maybe heal up after the gameplay. That would be better because when you play the Spider-Man games, when you get injured and your suit's all tore up, it stays tore up like that until after I think the fighting is over. And then I think the suit kind of fixes itself as you're going from one point to another, like when you're actually playing yourself, not in the middle of a battle. So maybe that would have worked out better. I think that's the only thing about it that I was kind of like, I don't know. But either way, I'm so excited about this game. I'm so excited to see where it goes. I'm so excited to see all the different types of way his story is going to be effective towards the Marvel Spider-Man storyline because we know these games aren't done yet because I think Miles is going to have his own game pretty soon again because Peter does quote unquote retire. And based off what we've seen from the ending of that game is a possibility that Doc Ock is going to be coming along back with alongside Osborn to kind of take revenge on Spider-Man. So likely a lot of Green Goblin. I don't know. We'll see. But once again, I'm super excited about this game. Can't wait to see it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys thought about the gameplay. Does it make you a little bit more excited? Is your excitance gone down for it? Or maybe you're in the middle. Maybe you kind of want to just wait and see. But until that time, guys, I'm your man of Spoken Reviews, and I will catch you guys in the next one, bub. Later.